English Paper 2, 2016 revision. Alright, so the first question was on structure, which is vocabulary. Now the best way to improve your vocabulary is by reading. Whenever you come across a new word, make it a habit to look it up in the dictionary and also try to use that word in other sentences. That's going to help you a lot. So the instruction was, from the 4 options provided, select the best word or words which is or are closest in meaning to the underlined one in the sentence. Draw a circle around your answer as indicated in the example below. If you change your answer, cross out the circle neatly. Alright, so let's begin. Question number 1. The production of maize in Zambia soared from 700,000 metric tons to 900,000 metric tons. So the underlined word soared simply means increase rapidly above the usual level. So the answer to question number 1 is B, grew. Question number 2. The wisdom that we have was passed on to us by our ancestors. So the underlined word ancestors simply means a person from whom one is descended. So that's synonymous with A, forefathers. Question number 3. Most people don't know that many millionaires are tight-fisted. So the phrase tight-fisted simply means not willing to spend or give much money. So the answer is C, miserly. Question number 4. Although she was poor, she had ample fund to cover her fees for her 2 sons. So the word ample simply means enough or more than enough. So the correct answer is B, sufficient. And then question number 5. All living things have attributes that are peculiar to them. So the word attribute simply means regard something as being caused by another thing. So the correct answer is C, traits. Question number 6. The head teacher rebuked the typist for the numerous mistakes that she had made in the document. So the underlined word rebuked simply means to express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behavior or actions. So the correct answer is D, scolded. Question 7. General workers are also referred to as blue-collar workers. So referred to simply means mention or allude to. So the correct answer is C, regarded as. Question 8. The Supreme Court reversed the decision of the High Court. So the underlined word reversed simply means make something the opposite of what it was. So the correct answer is B, overturned. Question 9. Victor and I handled the problem with ease. So the word handled simply means to manage. So the correct answer is dealt with. Question 10. Samuel Matete set a world record time in the 400-meter hurdles in the 1996 Olympic Games. So the word set simply means to put or bring into a specific state. So the correct answer is A, established. Question 11. She achieved only a glimmer of what she had hoped to do. So the word achieved simply means successfully bring about or reach a desired objective or result. The correct answer is D, accomplished. Question 12. We did our best to overcome the challenge caused by the power outages. So the word overcome simply means succeed in dealing with. So the correct answer is A, defeat. 13. This is authentic leather. So the word authentic simply means of undisputed origin and not a copy. So the correct answer is C, genuine. Question 14. We replaced delicate exotic trees with sturdy local trees. So the underlined word sturdy simply means strong or solidly built. So the correct answer is C, strong. Question 15. We are optimistic that human ingenuity would find ways to overcome food shortages. So the word ingenuity simply means the quality of being clever, original, or inventive. So the correct answer is A, cleverness. 16. The notorious criminal kicked the bucket. So the phrase kick the bucket simply means to die. So the correct answer is A, died. Question 17. A number of schools have mushroomed in recent years. So the word mushroomed simply means increase, spread, or develop rapidly. So the correct answer is D, increased quickly. Question 18. It was forecast that there would be a severe drought. So the word forecast simply means predict or estimate. The correct answer is D, predicted. And then question 19. The hostilities between the two countries heightened in 1989. So the word heightened simply means more intense than normal. Therefore, the correct answer is A, escalated. Finally, question 20. She had adequate food to feed the visitors. So the underlined word adequate simply means satisfactory or acceptable in quality or quantity. Now remember, few is used for countable nouns while little is used for uncountable nouns, but it says adequate, so meaning the levels of food were satisfactory. Therefore the answer is B, a little. Alright, so that concludes this section on structure. Remember to read a lot, and whenever you come across a new word, make it a habit to look it up in the dictionary to find the meaning and how it can be used in other sentences. Okay, so question 2 is on transformation or rewrites. So the easiest way to master rewrites is by practice. Make sure you answer as many questions as possible from past papers and pamphlets. Use pamphlets a lot because they also give the solutions to the answers. Understand how sentences are joined, e.g. you must know that no sooner goes with than, etc. You also need to be mindful of punctuation. Alright, so let's read the instruction. In each of the following items, sentence A is complete but sentence B is incomplete. Complete sentence B each time by making it as similar as possible in meaning to sentence A. Make sentence B one sentence, never two. Do not make any changes to the printed parts of section B. Alright, so let's begin with the first rewrite. The teacher and her learners are working hard toward the attainment of good grades. So begin with the teacher in collaboration with her learners are working hard toward the attainment of good results. Alright, number 2. This woman's patience is surprising. Begin, this woman has surprising patience. Alright, question 3. It was reported that she had died of cerebral malaria. Begin, she was. So she was reported to have died of cerebral malaria. Question 4. You will manage to find him next Thursday. Begin, not until next Thursday will you manage to find him. Question 5. I am not responsible for this loss in any way, said the goalkeeper. Begin, the goalkeeper said that he or she was not responsible for that loss in any way. Question 6. You will emerge victorious provided you remain focused. Begin, unless, so the answer is unless you remain focused, comma, you will not emerge victorious. Question 7. Let us meet and discuss this issue. Begin, it is high time we met and discussed this issue. Question 8. One should be courageous and determined to succeed in politics. Begin, it takes courage and determination for one to be successful in politics. Question 9. Immediately Andy won the race, he fainted. Begin, no sooner had, so the answer is no sooner had Andy won the race than he fainted. Finally, question 10. Although Betty is very tall, she is not good at long jump. Begin, in spite of, so there are two options here. The first one is, in spite of Betty being very tall, she is not good at long jump. Or, in spite of the fact that Betty is very tall, she is not good at long jump. Alright, so that's that on the transformations. Okay, so the next part is on comprehension. So let me quickly read the passage, then we'll be able to answer the questions. Human language is meant to reveal and share something about ourselves. There are two main types of communication, symbolic and empathic. Symbolic communication consists of spoken or written language, signs and gestures. It covers such vastly different things as mathematics, instruments, panels, scoreboards, barber pose, signal lights, secret codes, and so on. Empathic communication is non-verbal. It is more of an exchange of feelings. We cannot ignore or belittle its importance because the greater part of our communication is made up of unspoken feelings and emotions. Language is a complex of signs. Language is written if it consists of signs written on stone, wood, metal, paper, or any other material. It is spoken when the talk is carried on through pronounced words. It is ideographic if symbols express ideas. For instance, eyes represent sight and ears hearing. The Chinese system is an example of ideographic language. Language is phonetic or phonographic if particular signs are given particular meanings and these signs are made use of in communication. Shorthand and coded language are examples. When our words fail to convey adequately all that we feel and would like to express, nonverbal communication or body language takes place. Psychologists have found that our communication is mainly nonverbal. We communicate a good 30% through symbols. These can be clothes, cosmetics, jewelry, or gifts. Most importantly, we communicate through actions of the body such as gestures, facial expressions, a hug, eye contact, and tics. Our nonverbal behavior speaks loud and clear to the listener as his or her nonverbal behavior tells us how he or she is feeling. Nonverbal language is more apt to indicate how one's mental attitude and emotions stand. Body language is more impressive than word. It is expressed in the tone of voice, the look in the eyes, the smile, the frown, and the way in which the hands are used. An adequate knowledge of nonverbal behavior will enhance our ability to understand more fully what transpires during interaction. Therefore, knowledge of body language is of utmost importance for communication. Someone may be saying one thing and non-verbally telling you something else. Okay, so comprehension tests your understanding of a particular passage. So here are some tips for dealing with comprehension. Number one, read the passage once and then briefly look at the questions just to have an idea of what to look out for the second time you read the passage. So you read the passage once and then go through the questions, then go back to the passage and try to understand it, and then start answering. But be careful with answers that seem too obvious. So counter check your answer with what's written in the passage. And then finally, make sure you're mindful of your time because this section usually consumes a lot of time. Alright, so let's begin answering. Question 1. The best title for this passage is, I would say, D, types of communication. Then question 2. In paragraph 2, we cannot ignore or belittle its importance. The word its refers to, if you read paragraph 2, you realize that the answer is A, empathic communication. Again in paragraph 2, exchange of feelings is portrayed through A, empathic communication. Question 4, according to the passage, gestures are part of D, symbolic communication. Then question 5, according to the passage, which of the following statements is not true? So if you go through the passage and understand it, you realize that option C is not true because the greater part of our communication is actually made up of unspoken feelings. Then question 6, which of the following mostly reveals and shares something about ourselves? So if you read the passage again, you realize that the answer is A, non-verbal communication. Question 7, in paragraph 8, body language is more impressive than words. The word impressive means, so the answer is A, appealing. 8, from paragraph 9, we can deduce that where non-verbal communication conflict with spoken language, we should go for, so if you read it closely, you realize that the answer is non-verbal language, C. Question 9, road signs can be said to belong to, so the answer is C, ideographic language. Question 10, complete the following sentences by filling in the blank spaces with the most suitable word from the passage. So the questions are, the type of language in which symbols are expressed in ideas is called, and shorthand and coded languages are examples of. So the correct answers are, number 1, the type of language in which symbols are expressed in ideas is called symbolic language, and then number 2, shorthand and coded language are examples of phonetic language. Alright, so that concludes the section on comprehension. So remember, read the passage once, go through the questions, then read the passage again, and then begin answering. But make sure you counter check your answers and look for clues within the passage for you to arrive at the correct answer. And then the last part is on summary writing. So again, let me read the passage and then we'll be able to answer the summary. Okay, obesity means excessive fatness. It has reached epidemic proportions in children in developed countries. The World Health Organization says that an estimated 122 million children under the age of 5 are overweight worldwide. Childhood obesity is also extending to developing countries. It is advisable to serve children with more fruit and vegetables than convenience foods. There's also need to limit soft drinks, sweetened beverages, and high-fat sugary snacks. It is imperative for parents to offer their children mainly water or low-fat milk. High rates of obesity among children are leading to rising rates of high blood pressure. Unless this upward trend in high blood pressure is reversed, we will be facing an explosion of new cardiovascular disease causes in young adults. The global epidemic of child obesity can be attributed to genetics. While genetics can be a predisposing factor, the alarming increase in obesity in recent decades appears to indicate that genes are not the only cause. A prudent and shrewd mother ought to employ methods of cooking that do not involve a lot of oils or fats. In this case, baking, boiling, and steaming can be the most welcome as opposed to frying. Children should therefore be served with baked, boiled, or steamed foods. They should also be given smaller food portions. Fast food restaurants have sprung up all over the world. One study reported that nearly a third of all children in the United States aged 4 to 19 eat fast foods every day. Giving food to children as a reward or a bribe ought to be avoided. Furthermore, children need not be allowed to skip breakfast, as skipping it leads to overeating later and consequently obesity. It is said that in Mexico City alone, 70% of the children and adolescents are either overweight or obese. Pediatric surgeon Dr. Francisco Gonzalez warns that this may be the first generation to die before their parents owing to the complications of obesity. It can be folly for parents to permit their children to eat while watching television or be in front of a computer screen. Eating in front of a television or a computer screen promotes consumption and lessens awareness of feeling full. In another dimension, it may be helpful to limit time spent on watching television, using the computer and playing video games. The increasingly sedentary nature of children in the United Kingdom is not unique. It has also been seen in most countries in the world. This state of affairs is not healthy. It is necessary for caring mothers or fathers to assign active chores to their children as a way of dealing with childhood obesity. According to the International Obesity Task Force, more children are affected by obesity than by malnutrition in some parts of Africa. It is extremely important to encourage physical activity in the form of riding bikes, playing ball games, and jumping rope. There ought to be active family outings through visiting the zoo, swimming, or playing in the park. These activities are worthwhile if obesity is to be systematically controlled. Failure to deal with obesity among children can have far-reaching consequences. It can bring about fatalities, thereby depriving the country of the much-needed future human resource. Okay, so the question is, according to the passage, what should parents do to curb obesity in their children? Present a well-connected summary of not more than 130 words. The summary has been started for you. Alright, so here are some tips when dealing with summary writing. Number 1, read and understand the question first. So before you can read the passage, go through the question to understand exactly what you're being asked to summarize. So in this case, what should parents do to curb obesity in their children? Once you've understood the question, go through the passage. Then as you read, make sure you underline the points that you'll be looking out for in the summary. And then summarize the passage in one paragraph and stick to the number of words stipulated. So after underlining the points, make sure you join them to form only one paragraph, keeping in mind the number of words stipulated, in this case 130 words. Then don't include unnecessary details, so don't give examples and extra details, just stick to the points that you've been guided on. And then your summary should make grammatical sense. Write correct and complete sentences by joining the points using conjunctions. Okay, so these are the points to this passage. We have, I think, about 20 points here. You will note that in the exam, most of the time the examiners will be looking for about 20 points. So each point carries a mark to form 20 marks. So as you're reading, you're underlining the points, and then don't forget to include them in your final summary. So the summary is as follows. Parents should give their children more fruits and vegetables while limiting soft drinks, sweetened beverages, fast foods, and high-fat sugary packs. Children should be given enough water or low-fat milk, and parents should adopt cooking methods that use low fats and oils like baking, boiling, and steaming instead of frying. Rewarding children with food and serving them with large food portions should be avoided. Skipping breakfast and watching TV while eating should be discouraged. Time spent on watching TV, using computers, and playing video games should also be limited for children. Parents should assign children chores and must encourage them to engage in physical exercises like riding bikes, playing games, and jumping rope. Regular family outings like visiting the zoo, playing in the park, and swimming are also helpful. Alright, so this summary has exactly 130 words, so you can go up to 135 or 125, so that's plus 5 or minus 5. Alright, so that concludes this paper. So we've been revising English paper 2 2016.